Welcome to the Vixen After 40. This is your host, the one and only, the Shady Vixen. Yes, I have to be shady, because some of y'all be tripping. Listen, I'm introducing a new segment into the podcast. It's called I'm Sick of This Shit. How many of y'all is just sick of some shit? I could go on and on. So what I want y'all to do, I need y'all support. I need you guys to call in and tell me what you sick of. And I got my first caller, so give me a second. And I just want to say thank you for supporting. You have a beautiful soul, and I fuck with you.
Hey Vixen, it's Callie. And the shit that I'm sick of is fake ass friends. Bitches who act like they can't like your shit when they see it. But I can see you in them views though. But when you start popping, bitches really want to show up. I remember that shit. So for you fake ass hoes who see your friends that starting their content, you bitches don't like no shit, bitch don't try to come around us when we start popping. And that's on that. Thank you. Hoes real quiet on the creek, now ain't you?
Quiet on the creek, period. That's what I'm saying. That's true support. Thank you so much, OC Cali, for showing a little bit of love. Actually, not showing a little bit of love. You showed a lot of love. You know what I'm saying? And I'm always going to fuck with you. You always going to see me in your views. You always going to see me liking your stuff because I ain't no hating ass. Because you already know I goes off. So listen, today we're going to dedicate this show to some the women that have lost their lives to online dating, domestic violence, and I just want to name a few of the young ladies that have lost their lives to the online dating. First, we're going to start with Ariana Jones of Arizona. That's a recent case that's shocked all of us, and my condolences to her family and friends during this time. I'm not going to get into the story, but you can go look it up. Allegedly, she met this gentleman on, I believe it was Snapchat. And, first date, they went to the movies. Now, this gentleman allegedly had visited the gravesite of where he was going to bury whoever he went on a date with, I'm assuming. And the police found in the records, like I said, this is online. He went to the gravesite about twice earlier that day, which is so chilling, so scary, because little did she know, she thinks she's just going on a date. And this man was, planning to do something horrible to her. And we just want to say rest in paradise. And then Sade Robinson. I know that was a case that we heard about. It was all over the news. This young lady, again, I'm not clear on how she met the gentleman, but I know that some say it was online. Some say she met him through a friend of a friend, which is super scary because you think when you're meeting someone through someone that you think that this person is a little bit more safe than a stranger that you're meeting. And apparently, allegedly, she dropped him off at his home, and somehow he convinced her to come in the house, and he dismembered her. Unfortunately, she did lose her life to online dating or, dating. I'm not sure, but we're just going to assume that it's, online dating because that's what's been said. So it's very unclear on how she met this gentleman. So anyways, we want to say rest in paradise to this young lady. Beautiful souls, both of them. And then the last young lady, like I said, I just wanted to just name a few. Is Celeste Rivas. We all know about that. I'm not going to go into too much detail. We can look it up online. The only reason why I touched on this is because she was underage, allegedly. They were dating. Again, I do believe they met online on Discord. I think, again, allegedly, and he took her life. And that reflects more of like domestic violence, and she was underage. So we're dealing with, a predator. We're dealing with all those horrible things. So we just want to say rest in peace to these ladies, and rest in paradise. And what I do want to say is we're not trying to talk about this to add shock value or gossip. We're talking about this because women deserve to date safely and make it home safely to their families. And I think it's just unfortunate that there's people out there that do horrible things to people. So, and then really quick, I watched a story on Netflix, which was based on a true story. It's called the Anthony Robinson story. I think you should check this out. This is an online dating. The young lady did not, she did not lose her life, but she almost did. She was very close. He was actually unaliving women that he was meeting online while he was dating her. And she was pretty much next. Please go check that movie out. It's very informative about online dating. When you see something, you say something. When you see the first sign of, something that makes you feel uncomfortable, you want to immediately, stop dating this person. It's not a coincidence. It's not, maybe they're a nice guy. No, something is wrong, and you should not date this person if you get any type of ill will, feelings about this guy. So that movie, for my ladies that do online dating, I think you guys should really go check that movie out. It really points out a lot of things that it points out a lot of red flags that I think that we sometimes miss. So enough said. I have a guest today, and we are going to be talking about online dating. Is it safe? Is it dangerous? Do you think it's okay? My guest is my son that I love so much, Rave.
Hello. I'm
Hey,
back.
you're back. We're back. We love you, Rave. So if it's okay, I want to ask you a few questions.
Okay.
And just give me your honest opinion about what you think. Okay. Um, what makes dating safe or unsafe?
Um, that's a great question. I
Right.
think what makes dating safe is communication.
Okay. Oh yeah.
I also think just checking in.
Yep.
I would just basically say communication. There's really nothing else that could make dating safely. I mean, not going places that you wouldn't go with a stranger.
Okay. Yeah.
Things that make it unsafe, I can really tap on that, is going
Okay.
places that you wouldn't go, not communicating right, probably not figuring out the person before you go on the date. That's why there's phone calls and video chat now.
Right.
I would also say just doing things you wouldn't do with a stranger.
Okay. That's a great answer. And so I'm going to piggyback off of that, and I'm going to ask you, um, and this might be a little off topic. Is a coffee date thoughtful or is it low effort?
I think a coffee date could be, I don't know, I feel like a coffee date could be, it depends on the person, because sometimes somebody might not want to go out and have a dinner and eat in front of somebody they're just, meeting.
Right. Right.
Like, personally, me, I'm not going to want to eat a full chicken tender meal and I'm trying to get to know you because I eat
Right.
crazy.
Right.
So,
Right.
I think coffee date, sure,
Okay.
to, start start getting the ball rolling.
Okay. Now I think I do not agree with the coffee date. I have used the coffee date in the past. Okay.
Okay.
The only reason why I use a coffee date if it's someone that I'm not 100% sure about. Like, I just want to meet this. I'm a little unsure about this person. I want to meet them in person first and see, do they have a crazy tick? You know, do they have anger issues? Like, this is someone that I really want to kind of check out before I do any type of investing in.
Right, and I think that goes back to that's how you can date safely.
Okay.
Is doing that video chat, calling them to see how they sound. They might say something crazy. Crazy people don't hide. They can't hide what they're wanting to say.
They can't hide for too long. They can't hide.
Not too long, but I feel like sometimes crazy people don't think they're crazy, and they say things that you're like, huh?
Yeah.
So,
right.
yeah.
Right. Like, I dated a guy that was a pathological liar, and I didn't know that he was a pathological liar, but he started to say weird things that I knew were weird. Like, I was like, that's weird, Okay, so moving on. So how quickly, and I think this is really important for you guys, how quickly should someone ask to meet in person?
I mean, like I said, I feel like you can't really base it off of time. I would have to say, like I said, a few video chats.
Okay.
Maybe, a week or two of texting, video chatting, just getting to know this person.
Okay.
Because if this person can't communicate, you don't need to be on a date with them.
Right.
If this person can't send you a text message that only requires 5 seconds of their time, then you don't need to be going on a date with this person.
Right. So you're saying like a lack of communication in the beginning. What if they want to hurry and meet, but their lack of communication is there? That's a red flag, right?
I feel like, yeah, that's a red flag. If you want to hurry up and meet and you can't text back, because we're in a world of texting. We're in a world of technology.
And everybody has their phone.
Right. Everybody has a phone.
Yeah.
Everybody has unlimited phone lines, unlimited plans.
Right.
So you should be able to text.
Okay. And before we move on here, and I'll give you a chance to give me some questions too, but I want to play a little game with you first. Last question here. What's one standard you think a person should never compromise when starting the online dating? It's new and you're trying to figure out, who's your person. What's something you should never compromise, a standard that you have?
I would say not to, send pictures of your body.
Okay.
I would say that's a good standard not to compromise, because that just...
Okay. I'll stop doing that, by the way.
It might be you seeking validation, and then the other person might be wanting to use you and wanting to, be lustful. Right.
And you know what? Honestly, I'm kidding. I don't send inappropriate pictures, but I would send pictures, like guys would go, oh, send me pictures of your body. And I would send a picture, and then I felt like I was attracting the wrong crowd. So I changed my profile to just headshots, and it kind of, gave me a different crowd of men, but they were still, weird. So, I learned not to send pictures that you will view my pictures online. That's one of my standards, by the way. You will view my pictures online. I will not send you any pictures offline, because they can take those pictures and they can find out your address. They can find out where you live. So ladies, be very, 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 very careful when you're sending information out of your phone, because as you know, your phone tracks everything that you do. So when you take a picture, it tracks the location. It tracks the time. It tracks like all that stuff. So when people, psychopaths, narcissists, they have figured out a way to get that information off of pictures. So what I like to do is, if I do start talking to someone and we take it off of line, I will take a screenshot of the screenshot and make sure there's no information, because you can take that off of the picture. So just for anybody that didn't know that. So be careful.
And I would say not to use any pictures you have published on social media.
Okay.
I found so many things from Google Image. There's a new feature on Google where you can take a screenshot of something and post it into Google Images, and they can scan and see the exact matches. There's really like a tab that says exact matches or visual matches. So don't send any pictures that you have post on social media like TikTok and all that, because Google is good for that. And the internet is like a cloud.
Yeah, exactly. All right, y'all. Well, it's time for a little rapid fire.
Really?
Let's see what rave is all about. We gonna see now. These questions, they're about his mother, which is me, and we just want to see, how well he knows his mom.
Okay.
All right. So here's the rules. You know what? Maybe we should go ahead and turn off the lights for this one, because things might get a little. You know what I'm saying? Let me make sure I turn off the right one, so we don't be up in here in the dark. Okay. I think I'm doing it right. Ooh. Okay. Did I do it right? Okay. All right. All this technology. Okay, let's go. So, and you have to answer them fast. Like, you
Okay.
can't be like, oh, no, you gotta
Okay.
okay, boom, we ready. Okay. Coffee or dinner?
Coffee.
Texting or phone calls?
Texting.
Younger or older?
Older.
Split the bill or he pays?
He pays.
Period. Oh, shoot. I'm sorry, y'all. Okay. Instant chemistry or slow burn?
Slow burn.
Got it. Second chance or immediate block?
Immediate block.
Period. Double text or disappear?
Double text.
Okay. Yep. Video call or blind date?
Video call.
And you know how I get down. Don't be doing no blind dates. Private profile or public profile?
Public profile.
Right. Meet in a week or text for a month?
Text for a month.
Okay. So, that's pretty much, that's pretty much it. Like, you pretty much know. It's like, I'm going to text you for a little bit. Like, we need to get to know each other before I just run out and meet you
Right.
at wherever. So let's talk about some of the safeties of like online dating, right?
Okay.
Do you think it's safe, like, for someone to pick you up?
No.
No.
That is not safe. I think, yeah, that's not safe.
No, that's not safe.
No.
I would never. I honestly, at this day and age, I would never let a man pick me up.
Yeah, and if you don't have a car, you need to have a friend drop you off and stay in the car
Correct.
to make sure you get out wherever you're
And-
going in.
You don't let him pick you up, and you don't pick him up.
Yeah.
Like, no one should be at anybody's home. That's like a off the limits.
Right.
What about, how do you feel about going to a bar or drinks for a first date?
Well, that wouldn't be a first date because you're intoxicated and you don't really have any,
Correct.
Correct.
Yeah.
That's the perfect chance to get, killed.
Correct. So, exactly. So, ladies, don't let him pick you up. You don't pick him up. Do not go to drinks on a first date. I can't tell you how many men online, the first date, they're like, drinks and appetizers. And I'm like, I don't drink. When I say I don't drink, boy, they be blocking me quick. Block. They don't listen. I don't play no games. So, let's see, what's the next one weird that I've gotten. I mean, I would just say, oh, late at night, they like to, you want to go on a date at 10 o'clock? Hell no. What are you doing out at 10 o'clock with somebody?
Right. And then why can't we do it on the weekend? You have free time.
Right. So when you go on a date, you want to make sure that you're not going on a date late at night. You want to go on a date. I always tell the guys that approach me with, do I want to go on a date? I always tell them brunch or breakfast, or a late brunch or late lunch. Late lunch is like 4 or 5, like 4, right? I don't want to be with them past a certain time because people start to get ideas of thinking, oh, well, it's 8 o'clock. What do you want to do next? So I kind of I cut all that off, right? I cut him to the chase. I'm like, nope. So always make sure you're in a well-lit area with people so you can't get kidnapped, right? And never take any like food or anything from them because these men are out here drugging women, okay? Like, you're done, okay? there was a story where there was I don't remember the person's name I read online, that she went to this dude's house for a first date. But look, she said she had been talking to him for a month already. They had been talking for a month. She thought she really knew this dude. This is a real story. I just don't have the information of the person's name because it's so many of them. She went over to the dude's house thinking she was gonna have a dinner, and she said in her text message, and this is why we know, because unfortunately she passed away. He chopped her up, and he dismembered her and dumped her in the woods behind his home. She texted a friend and she said, he just gave me something to drink and I'm starting to feel sleepy. And no one heard from her after that. So never take anything from your date. Like, you really need to get to know these people. Online dating, it has its benefits, it has its joy. There's positivity. You might meet somebody. I'm not canceling online dating because there's positivity, right? But I think in 2026, I think it's a lot dangerous.
I think online dating is great if you live sort of like a busy life, or you're
Right.
trying to focus on something in your life, like a career, a goal, a business. I think that's great because being in a relationship in person can be very physically demanding,
Right.
and
Right.
emotionally demanding, and sometimes
Right.
people don't have time to do that. Now, I'm not saying that online relationship won't be emotionally demanding, because you have to do more work to keep that
Right.
connection. But say you need to be here at this time, and your partner has scheduled a date for this time, or so I feel like it could be great, it could be bad, just like everything.
Right. And
So-
there's good and bad with everything. Okay, so what question, while we got these lights off, honey, what questions do you got for your mom? Because I pop it.
Nothing really. I would just say, what could be some precautions that you would take for online dating?
Let me give it to you raw. I never do this. Never meet at their house. They never pick me up. I always meet, like I said, I do brunch or I do breakfast. No drinking alcohol, which I don't drink anyways, but even if I did, no drinking, because it alters the mind. You can't really focus in if you tipsy. You can't really tell if he's a lunatic because you're drunk. I'm aware of my surroundings. When I do meet places, I try to meet where there's a lot of people in case, I need help. I've had dudes say, you want to go hiking on a first date. Some of these dates you got to be very cautious of. And I've done something dangerous once. A gentleman had a boat and he took me on his boat. And after the date, I thought, like, you know what? That was really dangerous. Like, yeah, it was cool. He had a boat, we were cruising around. It was nice, but that was really dangerous, like going on his boat, even though it was daytime and, there were people around us, it still was, very dangerous. So, I made it up in my mind, like, no, I don't want to ever do that again. Even if he has a boat, I'm good. And I would just say, just always stay somewhere where someone can get to you if you need help. If you start to see like weird patterns, and what I like to do too is I don't like to meet right away. Like, if someone wants to meet you real, like they're crazy, that is a red flag, because somebody should respect your boundaries. I remember a gentleman was like, oh, let's meet. I'm like, well, first I want to chat. Let's chat. You know what I'm saying? He didn't want to do that because he didn't want to let me get a chance to see his crazy. Because he knows if I were to talk to him, right, they can't hide it for too long. So he didn't want to meet. I said, that's cool. Like, all right, cool. Because I need to get to know you and I need to talk to you first before I just be meeting up with you. So if they're ever too eager to meet with you, that is a red flag. Just Do a video chat before you go on an actual date with somebody. Do do some phone calls. Pick up on their voice. Pick up on if their temperament changes, if they a little crazy, if they say something crazy. Like, that's why you want to give yourself time to meet. Before meeting, you want to give yourself a little bit of time to see if they got a nervous tick. Hell, they might, you know what I'm saying? Like, you might roll up and, so just be safe. Really what I would say is talk to them, like, on the phone, do video chats, because you will find out a lot about somebody. Quick story. I was talking to someone and we talked. This was our first phone conversation, to be honest with you. And he was a really nice guy, right? Real cool. He told me, there's always that question like, hey, are you dating anyone right now? What are you into right now? You always want to find out what they into, right? He says, oh, I'm meeting girls on the website. I just met a girl and we really hit it off. And I said, oh, well, why are you talking to me? Like, what happened? And he said that they started, like, kind of making out or whatever on their first date. And I was already turned off. Like, that's why it's good to, like, talk to people to kind of see, like, where they at. So this already told me what I needed to know. Dude, he moves fast. He's promiscuous. Y'all making out in the car on the first date, right? This is what he says. He said that he told the girl, like, I want to be with you. Like, she was a stripper. She was really pretty. And he told her, like, I want to be with you. She said, before you, I know I look good and all this stuff, but I got to tell you something before, and then I want you to make your decision. Now, they done already, did whatever they done did, he didn't go into details, but he just said they made out. I think it was just more like kissing and stuff like that. She said, allegedly, this is what he told me. Like, this is what he told me, is that she said, okay, I'm a felon. I have herpes. And he said he could not end the date fast enough. Now, he said he was on the way home. He said he was Googling to see if you can get herpes from kissing. And he said he went home and washed his mouth out and, did everything that you could possibly do to, medically to try to make sure he didn't catch nothing. See what I'm saying? If you would have did the fact check, you would have talked to her, right? You wouldn't have had to run home and Google. I was laughing kind of because the way he was telling the story. It's not funny, though. It's not. But that's why you need to be safe. That's why you need to not do things like that. And she told him, like, hey, I'm a felon. Like, it's going to be hard for me to get a job. You're going to have to give me money and take care of me. And I got herpes. And I was like, ooh, honey. And I blocked him after that conversation. I wasn't trying to be mean, but I just felt like there was several red flags there. One, you moved too fast off of how somebody looked. You moved too fast. You didn't even get to know this girl. You kissing all on her, and now you might got the herp. You know what I'm saying? So just be careful. You know what I'm saying? And I had another story for you guys, but it was something recent about a gentleman. I'm trying to think. Besides them showing up and not looking like how they supposed to. That's a big one for me. If this is what you say you look like, because I'm gonna come full force. Like, this is what I look like and everything. Like, whatever. You either like thick females or you don't, or whatever. But don't show up and your pictures are, 17 years old, 20 years old, 40 years old, and you looking, you roll up looking, don't do that. That's not cool. Don't do that to people. I would just say be very honest and straight up with people. You got men out here trying to move in with you. I'm very strict. I don't bring nobody home to the house because my kids don't deserve that, and you really got to protect your kids, right? Have I brought any men home?
No.
I don't play those games. So, ladies, you really have to. And how would you feel about that if I was dating random men on the internet and bringing them home? Like, how scary is that?
Very scary. I've heard a lot of like people. I remember this guy on TikTok. He said his mom was like a video vixen,
Okay.
and he said that he started to despise his mom because she was just sleeping with a whole bunch of men. And I was like, well, it just that stuff really affects the child, because the child is going to be going to different places, having to sit down here, sit down there while his mom is being,
Right.
so
Hitting them streets. And I get it, but it's like your kids are watching, and we have to make good decisions, for not just for myself, but for my children. And it doesn't matter if they're grown or whatever, your kids are always going to be watching you, and those are going to be your protectors. So if I do bring somebody up in there and they acting a fool, now my kids got to deal with it, so I always want to be very selective. And I'm single, and I've been single for 4 years, and I'm good. Like, I actually like being single, like, I'd rather be single than to be with someone that's toxic, that's a liar, that's a cheater. You know what I'm saying? That
mm-hmm.
can't provide for me the way that I want. So, yeah. I mean, how do you feel about me being single?
I don't know. It's not me. It's you. Really?
I mean, not having a man in the home. You know how they say that men.
Well, I'm 20 years old. Doesn't need to be no men in the house. You got past the ages of having a man correct you and give you constructive criticism. That's done.
Do you believe that? And this is a topic too. That some men say that men have to be in the home in order for the child to be raised correctly and successfully.
No, I don't think that's true either, because those men that can be in the home could also be abusive to the children too. Just like, the mom can be abusive too, but it all comes down to if the parent is a good parent.
Right.
It doesn't matter if you have a dad, you have a mom, if you have both, they can both be abusive.
Right.
We've seen many cases where they was locking their children up.
Oh yeah.
And it was both the mom and dad.
Yep.
So
There's
that
been
doesn't
a
really
few
matter.
stories.
I feel like one good parent is enough.
Period. Do you hear that?
One good parent is enough.
One good parent is enough. I was gonna say something, but I'm not.
A dad's gonna be there to tell you to go out and do that, and you a man now.
Right.
I mean, we can all figure ourselves out. We all live with ourselves, are alone with ourselves.
Right.
Cry by ourselves, so
right.
we know who we are.
Right.
Maybe not fully, but we understand what we like, what we hate, our goals, our dreams. So we don't need a dad to figure that out for us.
Right. Right. And I think I remember you sent me a text like a few days ago.
I did see you a text a few days ago when it said something like, when you didn't need a dad because you had a super mom.
Yeah.
And that means like the super mom, you was the mom, the dad, the grandpa, the grandma, the uncle, the aunt, everything.
Correct.
And that's why when you're asking me, oh, why are you not, sad over not having a dad, I was just like, because you were a good mom.
Oh, I
super
appreciate
mom.
that.
I didn't really need to have both.
That touches my heart, because sometimes when you're in the thick of it and you're hustling, you're working, you're dropping the kid off at daycare, you're jumping back on the freeway, you're working and you're paying all the bills and you're doing everything, and the other parent is not present and they're not helping, and sometimes you get, so I honestly appreciate that, and I love you for that, because there was times where I was just like,
yeah, and I think that single women are stronger than actual men, because they've birthed this kid, and then
right.
they have to deal with the man leaving, and then having
right.
to raise a child, and having to make ends meet,
right.
with paying the bills, paying the daycare, paying the rent, paying
right.
all this stuff, buying the children food, clothes to go to school, gas. So
everything.
I think that single women in general are just stronger than men emotionally and physically too.
Where my baby mamas at? Where my single baby mamas at? I want you guys to share this post and hit that like, because I'm telling you, I am for the single moms and the baby mamas. Matter of fact, I'm coming out with a clothing line right now. It's for the single moms. It's called the Baby Mama Collection, and we gonna drop some dope stuff. So support your girl. It's dedicated to my baby mamas, to my single moms. And I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna close on this, and I'll give Rave a chance to say what he needs to say for closing. But I just encountered an incident recently in my life with my son's father, which is I'm sorry. I'm not gonna call him a father. I'm gonna say a person that I have a baby with that happens to be fathered, Rave. This man left, and I've talked about it on my socials. He left when my son was, what, 1.5, closer to 2,
Yeah.
right? And he left me for another woman. He went because she had money, and he went to take care of this woman and her kids, which I think is outrageous that a man would leave his seed to go be with a woman and take care of her kid, which sounds crazy. But anyway, that's what he did. He was gone for about 7-8 years living with this woman, and, never thought, let me send a payment for my son. Like, let me take care of let me help, right? Never. So then after that, he gets into some trouble. He goes to do some time, right? Did about 8-9 years. Gets out. Now, mind you, because I'm a cool person, I'm a Christian, and, sometimes God puts things on our hearts and forgiveness. So I forgave him, and he called from prison his entire time he was in prison. And I took his calls, and not because I wanted a life with him after he got out, because he was still playing games and trying to, date several women, including me in the lineup. And I just wasn't going to have it because I saw something, letters that he had wrote to me and to another girl, and it would have the same letter on it. The same letter was addressed to both of us. And I thought, I told him, I said, hey, I don't have time for no games, but hey, if you want to be a parent, co-parent with your son, and we just be friends, we could do that. Well, my son, if we're being honest, you didn't take his calls because of what?
I just didn't take his calls because there really wasn't nothing there. Like,
Okay.
I was, 16 when we first started calling, and I, really realized that he isn't someone I just want to talk to.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
I'm a very, kind of a close-off person, kind of.
Right.
So I knew that, to myself, that's why I didn't tell you, but I knew that he just wasn't going to be someone I was going to talk to, because it was just his language. He wasn't trying to figure nothing out. He was trying to figure stuff out to use me to help him get out of jail. So I was just like, you know what, I can't. That's why I stopped taking his calls, because
and I was wondering what was I was wondering what was happening, because he started calling and I started taking his calls just to be nice. You know what I'm saying? I took his calls just to be nice and help him get through that time, because I felt that, that forgiveness or whatever. But when he got out, he didn't even let me know when he got out. I actually helped him get out by sending paperwork over that he had asked me to send. And he got out, and he basically just said, F you and your son. You know what I'm saying? Now he had a pretty big balance for child support. They didn't collect for the 8 or 9 years that he was in prison. They only collected for the 7 years, which was only about $30,000. So after, going to court and running around, and he showed up to court and didn't even speak to his son. That's how mad he is about paying child support. And I told the judge, well, he's never made a payment. He got out, he's got a good job. Why are we not making him pay a little bit of money to bring that balance down, because he's never paid for his son. You know what I'm saying? And the judge said, okay, I'm gonna set it at $350. I was upset about it, but I was like, whatever, But even with that, he cried about paying child support for a child that you never took care of. That just to me, that is like some form of mental illness. Like, how do you not take care of your son? And then when you have child support, how do you not, like, be for real? Like, be for real. So now he's so mad about paying child support. He hasn't paid child support in almost a year. Okay. I haven't taken it back to court yet. I am. I'm just letting him rack up. I'm letting it rack up. So when I step in the courtroom this time, right, the judge is going to want to know, what the hell are you doing? But let me tell you, him and his new girlfriend, you know, she wants to beef with me. I'm going to tell you right here, right now on camera, homegirl, I ain't got no smoke with you. I really don't even give a fuck about you. Because really, it's not between you and me. And I'm going to keep saying that. It's between him and I. Because I didn't have the baby with you. I had the baby with him. So why he being a little punk, putting you on the phone to fight his battles, sis, this ain't about us. But let me tell you something. If a bitch step to me incorrect, I'm going to give it to you every time. So it don't matter about him and I. It's about you and me when you disrespect me. Now, again, I'm going to let you have it because, see, I'm not a low vibrational woman. So I'm going to let you know my stance, and I'm done. I have nothing else to say to you. This will be my last time addressing this with you because, again, I didn't have no kid with you. It just don't make sense for me to keep battling with you because he's pitting us against each other. And just so you know, this is what he does all the time. You ain't the first one, sis. He does this with all the bitches. I don't know why he want to pin everybody against me. Probably because I'm not the one that, see, I never, you know, I never stayed around for the fuck shit. Like, I don't play games. I went on with my life. I raised my son. I mean, you know, you call me fat. All right, cool. What, I mean, what else? Because fat or not, nigga, I still raised your son. So, sorry. I know y'all want to, you know, tear me up and woo, but your girlfriend is fat too. But see, I don't like to bash people because it's not about that. But I just wanted to let her know she's fat too while she was calling me fat. So we're going to move along. But as far as the child support goes, like, he sent like a little $80 payment the other day. And I know, like, I don't know if you're trying to cap or what, but your payment is $350. So let me tell you what I did, because I really don't got time to play and I really don't need your money. I called child support, didn't I?
Yeah.
Called child support, and I asked child support to take that balance away, because I never want to deal with you again. I don't even want to see your name pop up that a child support payment was received. I really want this to be done and put to bed, because you're dead to me. So even seeing a payment come through at this moment, because it's just sickening to me, the type of person that you are. I really don't even want you to pay the rest of what you owe $15,000 right now. I actually called child support and asked them if they could take that shit away, because I don't want nothing from you. Because you know, karma is one thing, right? Not taking care of your seed, being crazy out here in these streets, you're going to get yours. And you know what you say? He going to die owing me this money?
Yeah, unfortunately, I feel like
I'm never going to get it.
you're never going to get it. But karma doesn't have a time.
Sure don't.
The karma doesn't have a time stamp on it. So that's just something he should be.
And as they say in the Bible, that when you're wicked and you do wicked things, that you turn into grass without water. Now, I don't know if you've ever seen grass that doesn't get rain, but it's dead.
Yeah, I think that's the innuendo to that verse is it's dead.
It's dead.
When you see grass, it's dry. It's no
Brittle.
life in
It's
it.
no life. It's falling apart. That's gonna be your karma.
Yeah.
So I'm not. I know your girlfriend. She tried to say, "Oh, you crying about child support?" Yes, I'm crying about child support for a man that's never supported his son. Yes, and I believe you were on child support with your two kids also to a nothing ass nigga at the time. So apparently, if he wasn't paying child support, then I mean, so my thing is, I think any man that don't take care of his kid is a nothing ass nigga, period. And we shouldn't have to go to child support to put men on child support. They should want to take care of their kids. But here's the thing, because God is working on me. He's working on me. Okay, I'm not perfect. But hear me out. I don't want nothing from you. So, if it is to collect the rest of the money, it would be for my son, truly. Because I really don't want to see no more deposits, because you're a loser and you're crying about paying for a son you never paid for. Like, I literally called child support and told them to take that balance away, that I want to be done with you. I never want to talk to you again. I never want a phone call again. Don't send me nothing with his name on it. They said no, they can't do that. They told me no. He owes and he gonna pay. So, nothing ass nigga. I tried to take it off for you, but you owe that shit. Period. Sorry. Tell your little girlfriend, hey, you gotta pay it. And I didn't call to have it taken off to give you a break. I called cause I want to be done with you, and I never want to talk to you. I never want to see anything that has to do with you. Like, I don't. So, but like I said, God is working on me, and I'm going to continue to let God work on me. So.
All right, I guess that's it.
That's it. How you feeling, Rave?
Great.
You feeling like turning off the lights?
Yes, well, they're already off, but
let's go. We gonna turn them off. Thank you so much for tuning in. Subscribe, like, and share. And again, ladies, online dating, be safe out here in these streets, because to be honest with you, is nothing out here is really dangerous. And just be careful. Be super duper cautious of your surroundings, the men you're talking to, and just, I don't know, stay sexy, vixen. Period.